We're going to talk a little bit about the BMF fight at 300s. Now, firstly, I don't think there's a fight on the card that was more universally well received than this fight. You know, obviously, it's a competitive matchup between two living legends of the sport that both have a reputation for leaving it all in there and in the right way. Now, we aren't going to talk about who we think wins this fight because we're going to break that down in detail later on in the week. But the question I wanted to ask you, though, is does the BMF belt actually add any weight to this for you? And what do you think the UFC could do to maybe build on it moving forward?
The BMF belt doesn't add any weight to this for me. I'm okay if it was without the BMF belt because of the relevancy of Max Holloway and the relevancy of Justin Gaethje, like who they are as fighters, the excitement that they've brought to the table just throughout their careers. Even, you know, Justin he's only been in the UFC a certain amount of time. Like it's not like he's been here his whole career and he's done, you know, all these amazing things. I don't think that he's ever had not had a bonus. Like that's insane. So it didn't need to have that, in my opinion, but this is kind of some extra spice on top of it. And like I said, like the 3 title belt thing is more important for Max's legacy. That being said, it's not a real belt. We all know that. But the people who have held it add legitimacy to what it is. And I think that the way to expand that is an idea that you had before is make it a belt where it's really between 2 divisions. And those 2 divisions, because a lot of people talk about going up in weight. Well, this is a way that you can go up in weight and test the waters. And it's almost like a belt over the 2 divisions in a sense. You know, if like they find a way to belt. Yeah, it kind of really is. You know, there's a ton of fighters who are able to straddle both of those divisions and are really tough outs, like a Rafael dos Anjos used to be. He's old now, but you know, he's a person that he can fight welterweights and he can fight lightweights, and this is something that almost benefits somebody who can do something like that. So I think that would add a little bit to it, a little bit of spice to it. And then also another thing that would add spice to it would be to bring Mark Coleman out, have different people to present the belt to the winner. We had The Rock the first time, we had Masvidal last time. Bring out Mark Coleman to present the belt to the winner. I think that would be an amazing moment, especially for a monumental card, to have something like that. That would be really dope. But I mean, we all know what that belt is. It's basically the money belt, the money in the bank belt. So just play into that a little bit more and add some actual rules around it. I don't see any harm in it.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that to some extent. I think whether you value its function as an actual title that means something or not is certainly irrelevant for this particular matchup. Like, I think why I quite like it is it justifies making this a 5-rounder, which for these two is necessary. You know, we need this to go 5. And I like that we have this belt as like a placeholder to justify that at the very least. Like, yeah. I'll be honest though, like beyond this like standalone matchup, I don't think in its current form, it's going to mean anything beyond this fight itself. And I mostly think that because I think whoever wins this fight is probably just going to use it as a stepping stone to get an actual title fight in their respective divisions. And that the status of the belt will just be put on the shelf again, which I actually think is a massively missed opportunity. So I'm kind of thinking like, this is obviously not going to happen, but I thought maybe how about if I propose something to do with the BMF concept and you can gauge how retarded it is or not. What do you reckon?
That sounds good to me.
So I if I was in the position to make policy on this, I think that the UFC should lean into the whole BMF concept moving forward and like basically make it its own separate official thing. Now, the first thing I would do is I would change the rule set for the BMF matchups itself and make it stand and bang only. So no wrestling allowed, stand and bang only.
Yeah.
Next, I would basically let competitors fight at a catch weight, which is something that you mentioned, that they could both agree on, and make those two things the entire concept for a BMF title fight. Now, ideally, I'd rather have it as stand and bang, and also the fighters come in at their natural walking weight. Those would be the two things where I would go, boom, do you know what? Those are the stipulations for a BMF title fight. Imagine how sick that would be. It would bring in so many fighters that, and I also think it would be good for fighters that are no longer in title contention and they just want to fight under something that has its own unique concept and own unique selling point. And I think it's something that the UFC could have as innovative. Like, I think in its current format, outside of serving a singular purpose as it does here, I think doing this could make it entirely its own thing. And I think it would be very, very popular.
I think it would be. It's like the BMF stand and bang belt. Like, I mean, that's places that people like Sean Strickland, Chris Curtis, you know, they would thrive in fights like that. To where, like, I mean,
the BMF title fights. Yeah, the BMF title fights we've had so far have automatically been like that, because we had obviously we had Masvidal and Diaz that are only going to stand and bang, and we had Gaethje and Poirier who are only going to stand and bang, and it's going to be the same in this one. This is going to be a purely stand-up. Why not just make it official? That's not official. A bad idea. The rule set is bang, stand and bang rules only. Walk in at your natural weight only.
Yeah.
It's like that's the baddest motherfucker. Throwing hands at your own, no weight cutting. Walk like you're walking off the street and you're standing and banging.
Yeah.
I can see some value to that.
I really like that, especially the no weight cutting part of it, because people don't, you know, that's something that Max brought up earlier in the week, or it may have been the end of last week when he talked about gladiators. He said, man, gladiators didn't have weight classes. They fought, you know, whoever lined up against them, no matter what the weight was, and he feels like he's a gladiator. And I mean, it's not like the UFC have not done this before. Like they put Li Jingliang in there, who was 10 pounds below the weight of who was it, Mike Rodriguez. Do you remember that whole shambolic thing of a card? And he actually should have won that fight. Yeah, I think so. So if the two combatants agree to it and say, right, we just walk in and fuck the weight cutting, we just walk in at whatever weight we're at, and we stand and bang, I think that could be a sick concept. Yeah, and it would add something to the BMF would mean something then. It wouldn't just be it's a placeholder for, as you said, it's like a money in the bank, where the winners essentially setting themselves up for a title fight. It would be an entity of its own, and I think it would be very popular. Yeah, I think so too. No, that's a good idea. They're not gonna. I thought you were going to call me retarded. I was excited. No, that's so actually really good. The no weight cutting part of it, that's my favorite part of it, because it makes it more real. It makes it like you ran into somebody on the street and you're like, you know, I can beat you, and they just go at it. It ceases to become a BMF fight as well as soon as they start hugging each other's balls. So that's why I think the stand and bang element is so important to it, because if you get any of that in a fight where someone tries to do a double leg or something, it's immediately going to be, this ain't BMF. Do you know what I mean? So make it official. Where the referee literally steps in when someone tries to nut hug and goes, nope. Jorge Masvidal would be so upset. He would be so upset that he can't come back forever. He would be so upset because he couldn't come back and do it. Donald Cerrone would be so upset. Like, yeah, I think it would never happen. I think he wouldn't have made it. Yeah, I'm hoping that by talking about this and if the idea ever comes up, we can book stamp this one day and be like, see, we had the idea first. Told you this was going on.